Now, Koketso Lediga is a lawyer, a reading activist, and an entrepreneur from Atteridgeville, and she advocates for quality primary education with an emphasis on early childhood development, promotes reading for leisure as well.
So, Koketso's book, Mama Winnie, Southern African Friends, was launched on Tuesday, the 5th of November, and she joins us in studio. Koketso, thank you so much for joining us. Sorry, I'm a little flustered.
Sorry, you're a bit flustered, shame. It's called Kole meets Mama Winnie's Southern African Friends. It's okay, sorry.
It's perfectly fine. You had a moment, so it's understandable.
Okay. I think you said it hit you now.
Yeah, I think it just actually hit me. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Thank you for joining us, though.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us about your book.
Yeah, so Kole Meets Mama Winnie Southern African Friends is a children's book, a historical fiction, and it tells a story about a little girl by the name of Kole who goes on holiday with her mom. And while on holiday, also it's the first time she goes away on holiday. She usually spends time at her grandmother's house with her cousins. So she goes on holiday with her mom, and she makes an imaginary friend. And the imaginary friend turns out to be Winnie Madikizela Mandela. And Umama Winnie keeps her company throughout her holiday, and she introduces her to her friends, which includes Robert Subukwe, Charlotte Makleke, cool. Steve Biko, and the likes.
Can I see how user-friendly the book is? Because obviously, you do have a passion for early childhood education. So you understand that by allowing kids to access such information at such a young age, I mean, it has ripple effects in their latter years. So what do you want parents and kids who interact with this book to walk away with?
So there are multiple things that I hope they walk away with. The first one, which is probably the most important, is that the history of South Africa and Southern Africa and Africa as a continent is quite vast, right?
Yeah.
So what they learn in school in the history books is not all that there is to know. So I want them to take away the untold stories of some of the struggle heroes in South Africa and the neighboring countries. Another thing that I wanted them to take away, which is a harsh truth that sometimes I think the schooling system tries and shelters kids from, is that the struggle liberation was fought in multiple ways, right? There was bloodshed. There were also people who fought the war using their words, their minds, so that there are different forms approaches that were taken to win the liberation struggle. And the last one, which is also quite important, is that I hope the young kids and parents also take away the fact that African countries helped each other. And I think we, as a continent, have moved quite far away from that there was a time where, despite the fact that an individual country had their own issues, we leaned on each other to secure some form of victory.
Yeah. And
so, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that's the virtues of unity, of brotherhood, of Ubuntu, that, our forefathers fought for and continue to fight for. So, I mean, imagine kids from such a young age interacting with such virtues, what the rest of the continent will look like for the future.
Did somebody just spark the idea, or were you just driving one day? Where did this all come together? Where did it start?
So, funny story, I have a niece who insists that I say her name Liaho.
Hi,
Liaho. She was like, why whenever you do an interview, you always say your niece?
Okay.
So her name is Liaho. And Liaho went to a missionary school in the Northwest, an American missionary school. They had small classes, about like 5 or 6 kids in a school, in a class. And every holiday, whenever I went to visit her, she'd always tell me what she learned. And this one year, she was 13 or 12 at the time. She came back and she was like, "Oh, Sis Koketso, guess what I learned this term?" And I was like, "What?" And she was like, "I learned all the names of the saints and the presidents of America." And she listed all the saints, all the presidents in the order that they served.
And then you're like
13-year-old.
And you're like,
I'm like, ooh, impressive. Can you do the same for South Africa?
for South African people. And that's when you realized, no.
She could name Nelson Mandela, and I think I helped her get to Thabo Mbeki. And then that's when I realized that two things, that young kids don't really know our history, and also two, Americans are intentional about embedding the history in their kids. So instead of sitting back and complaining about why this missionary school is doing this, I thought to myself, you know what, I'm going to write her a history book. The idea of the book was to write her a history book. So I first tried to teach her through conversations, and I realized that didn't work. And then I taught her the history in its raw form, and I also realized that didn't work. So then I created little Kole here, and then in her imagination, she learns all these like nuggets of history. And then I gave it to her, and she read it in like 2 days and loved it. And then I thought to myself, you know what, I may as well just share this with other kids because I'm not sure there are lots of liachos out there.
So
Yes,
in
there are.
conclusion, what was the process of publishing this book? Did you self-publish? And your launch was literally, I think, like on the 5th or something, on Tuesday.
On
other
Tuesday,
day,
yeah. So I wrote the book, right, and I sent it out to a couple of publishers. At the time, I lived in London, so I sent it to London publishers and South African publishers, and there were 2 that came back, one from the UK and one from South Africa. And they were really interested, and they were like, these are stories that need to be told. And one of the things I said to them is that I have one condition, right, and is that I want a large portion of the proceeds of the book to go to the foundation, which is my foundation,
Yeah.
And of course, publishers are in the business of making money and not charity. They didn't want to agree to that. So I just decided, you know what, to just make sure that I maintain the integrity of the work in the form that I've written it, which has some kind of heavy truths. I'm going to self-publish. And I went through the trauma of self-publishing, which was hard.
Oof, I can
and
imagine.
I got the book done. I think we went into print at the end of August. So between August and Tuesday, I was selling it to people on social media, and then I eventually decided to do an official launch.
Yeah.
Okay, and how do we get our hands on it?
So you get the book online at ethnikids.co.za. It's also available at a bookstore in Melville called Capital Circle Books. And you can also get it from me. So if you send an email to info@kagiksanofoundation.co.za.
Wow, Koketso Lediga, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Kole meets Mama Winnie's Southern African friends.
Yes,
Yeah.
there you go.
The first of many, I hope.
Actually, yes. I had already started writing Kole meets Mama Winnie's West African friends, but people are like, they feel like there are so many other unsung heroes in Southern Africa and South Africa that I think I might do a sequel to.
And your
this.
co-writer will be Liaho, your niece.
No, she's a muse.
And then you both will come here next time when you write the new one, okay? You're
Yes.
always welcome at Weekend. Break.
Liacho, you're welcome. Yes.
We gave you a proper shout out, Liaho. because-
Koketso Lediga, of course, founder of Kagisano Foundation. She's a lawyer. She's a reading activist. Her little muse, Liacho, of course, helped her inspire the book, Kole Meets Mama Winnie's Southern African Friends. She joined us in studio to chat about her latest release.